Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's time to talk about dogs and welcome to the show. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. If it's your first time here in this channel, we focus on training dogs without the use of aversive tools, force, food, tools, domination, all kinds of negative stuff, and we focus on training dogs using a simple and fun method of dog training, which is using play and praise reward system. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is working well, and hope everything is going well with you and your dogs. Let me just quickly check, make sure everything is in good shape. And we're going to today we are going to talk about a simple way of training dogs, and also I'm going to answer your dog related questions, so feel free to ask your questions in the chat area. I'll be answering them as they come. So let's talk about training dogs. Why is it a challenge to sometimes to deal with dogs, and what training we have to follow, what type of training do we have to follow to make it more effective and easier for us to deal with our dogs. So let me just check this. There we go. Okay, I think perfect. All right, everything is good. um, so so for those dog owners who are new dog owners, or you just got a dog and you're overwhelmed with your dog, you're thinking, what do I do? Do I have to train my dog? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Things like that. If you're feeling that way, understand that training a dog is simple as long as you know what you're supposed to do. But training is not the only thing that you should do. There's other stuff that you have to focus on as well when it comes to training and dealing with your dog. Training is one part of the equation, but it's not the only solution. Training has to be also a task that you feel like doing it. You have to enjoy doing it. You have to be motivated to do it, because if you don't train your dog is not going to get better. And also, if you don't know what you're doing, your dog is not going to get better. So it all depends on how you are, where you are in your life. And if you are in the right place, mentally, emotionally, physically, if you're in the right place, training a dog should be simple piece of cake. Now, traditional dog training is a bit challenging. It's a bit harder because you have to learn techniques. You have to know exactly what you're doing and be a little bit more technical. Be more educated, right? But I think if you simplify the dog training, you will have a better result. So simplification of the dog training, in my opinion, is basically making it so simple that a kid can do it. So if kids can do it, you could do it too. Anybody can do it. So kids, if they're when they are dealing with a dog, for example, uh, and I've noticed this, they have a short span. The kids, if they're trying to interact with dogs, they have a short span, and they do a quick things with dogs. They have a little bit fun, play around, and this and that, and they're done, right? So I think training should be like that too. Dog training should be like that. Should be short, should be fun, should be effective, and should have results. So when you do a long term of dog training, what happens is You get tired, you get bored of it. The dog gets tired, the dog loses interest, doesn't feel like, and doesn't feel like doing things, doesn't feel like repeating the exercise. So therefore, the dog loses interest. You lose interest. Therefore, you don't train the dog anymore, and the dog doesn't get trained. So dog training, in my opinion, should be short, fun, enjoyable for both sides. So you should have fun training your dog, and your dog should be having fun being trained. And in my opinion, when you include play in the training, it becomes fun. But when you train a dog like a soldier, it doesn't become a fun activity. When you include play or even praise or both of them, play and praise, to the training, the training becomes more of, hey, we're doing something together, we're interacting. Therefore the dog enjoys that activity that you're doing with your dog. Therefore is willing to be more willing to learn. And when you're playing or praising a dog, 15 minutes is more than enough. And 15 minutes is enough because play and praise includes physical and mental and emotional and uh, interaction. So you get exhausted and the dog gets exhausted too, physically and mentally, emotionally, right? So you both benefit. So simplifying dog training is very important. If you are not enjoying training your dog, you have to look at what is it going on here, that is is something wrong here, and what can we do to fix it. So if you're not enjoying training your dog, or you don't know what it looks like, it feels like to train a dog, you have to change the way you train your dog. The method, the concept, the way you are approaching dog training has to be changed. And I would say 99% of dog owners, the way they think about dog training is, let me find some good treats, get a pouch bag, treat bag to put the treats in it, uh, and I'm just gonna do whatever and hope, my dog learns something. Rover, let's do training. Rover, sit. No, I said sit. Come on, baby, sit. Oh, you're not sitting. Okay, here's a treat for you. Oh, you sat for a second. Here's a treat for you. If that's the way you think training is, you got it all wrong. You got to change the way you're training your dog. And everybody is going to tell you that's the way actually, but I'm telling you, dog training should be different. Dog training should be fun. Dog training should be in a way you interacting with your dog. And speaking of interaction, I have a brand new video coming out tomorrow. Make sure to watch that video because it's a very deep and very, very detailed video that have produced. It's a little bit long, but I think it has a lot of information that you can take and use. Make sure to watch that video that is coming tomorrow. But overall, when we are talking about training a dog, training is, as I said, it's one aspect of your dog's life. But overall, you have to focus on providing your dog's daily 5 essential needs. Training is one part of your dog's daily activity or daily needs. Yes, dogs need training. And when I tell people that your dog needs daily training, People like, what are you talking about? Every day I have to train my dog? Yes. Uh, Not the traditional training for formal training, but a training that it's updated, it's new, it's modern, it's way of it's in a way the way we should be training our dogs. So again, if you're thinking of I have to go and grab bag of treats and then force my dog to sit and stay and not all that, that's not the training that I'm talking about. Training should be fun. Hey, Rover, let's play. Let's play. Play becomes the training session. So as I said, overall, training is one part of your dog's daily needs, daily thing that you need to. Oh, there we go. Golden, uh, gold miner jams. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, good gold miner jams. Thank you for being here. Thank you for smashing the like button too. Yes, don't forget to smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I have to get remind. Somebody has to remind me to remind you to tell you that. Thank you, gold mine jammers, for reminding me, and thank you for being here. Uh, so yeah, training is one part of your dog's daily needs. So uh, when we are talking about training, uh, overall, you want to make sure that your dog is being trained in a fun. Hmm, gold miner James. Sorry, I made a mistake here. I've been corrected by it's a gold miner James. I thought it was Jams. Sorry, I quickly took a look at it. So let's go back to the conversation we are having. So, by the way, if you have any questions, leave those questions in the chat area. I'll answer them. Um, so, training is one part of the equation, right? And it has to be a fun activity for the dog. For example, the five daily essential needs of a dog is exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. All these things are fun things for a dog. When a dog goes for a walk, it is a fun activity. It should be a fun activity, and the dog has fun with it, right? Socialization. When a dog is socializing with other people, um, playing with other dogs, being interactive with other individuals is having fun. It should be having fun. When you feed your dog, it's having fun. When you're taking care of your dog is having fun. When you're sharing affection with your dog is having fun as well. They love when you share affection with your dog, right? So training has to be fun as well. Now there are dogs who, they don't do well when you take them for a walk as an exercise. They're reactive or aggressive towards other individuals, dogs and people, and they don't enjoy. Then we have a problem. If your dog is not social and is not enjoying other dogs' companion company and is not having a good time be, being along other dogs or other people, then we have a problem. If your dog is aggressive or reactive when you're feeding it, then we have a problem. If you're touching your dog or petting your dog or interacting with your dog and sharing affection, and your dog is growling and reacting to you, then we have a problem. But normally and naturally, dogs want to have fun when we provide these needs for our dogs, right? So training should be fun as well. Yes, gold miner James. I'm on my coffee. Thank you for reminding me to have my coffee too. Ah, you're great. So yeah, the everybody every of these activities you need the dog has to have fun. And I think, in my opinion, most of the time when dog owners they think about or focus on training, they think of it as a chore. As a chore, I have to do it. Don't have time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the patience to do the training with my dog. It becomes not fun for you. And if you are not having fun and you go and train your dog with that energy, your dog feels it too and doesn't have fun either, right? I remember when I used to run private training classes or group classes, the owners would come and they were constantly looking at time and they were constantly distracted. They were looking at their phones, right? Uh, they're checking their phone. They're not in the moment. They're not enjoying it, right? So what happens is the dog says, "Well, you're not here physically, emotionally, mentally. You're not here with me. You're not enjoying it. So why should I care also?" Right? So they were not caring about being trained, and that's one side of it. The other side is that dog owners they don't feel confident enough, or they don't feel like they know what they're doing, or they don't have a good time, so therefore they don't train their dogs every day, right? Training is a thing that you have to do every day with your dog. And if it's not fun and if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to do it. So in my system, in my method of dog training, I have so much fun interacting with my dogs that I include training on daily basis. Could be a mini training session, could be a long training session, uh, could be for example, the the day that I was working on the video that I will be posting tomorrow, and I hope you watch it. I did a good training session with my dog Annie, and then while we were filming, I was doing a little bit of training with her as well. So she got a good amount of training session that day, right? But other days, I do one training session in the afternoon, a quick training session. But again, my training session is not something that you think of, oh, is getting the patch and treat bag and um, doing this and that and that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just playing with my dog, and while I'm playing, I'm training her as well. So it's something that I focus on to do on daily basis. Let me answer a couple of questions, and then we'll be back to this topic. Um, Gold Miner James is saying good morning to me and to everybody. Thank you for being here, Gold Miner. Um, Donald has a question. Hello, Saro. Do you ever volunteer at animal shelter training? I don't. I have done here and there, but I don't usually do it. The reason for that is it's going to be a little bit controversial if I respond to this question, because dog shelters are ran by individuals who still believe in the traditional method of dog training, which is treat training, and some of them use, you know, aversive tools and aversive method. I don't agree with those ideas, personally. Um, and if I go and volunteer with them, it's going to be a conflict of ideas, unfortunately. Although I will bring a new idea to that shelter, for instance, but they they have they have no idea what I'm talking about. I created this channel, for example, to educate dog owners about this method of dog training, this idea of dog training. It takes a long time for somebody to learn and understand. If you know me, I've told several times 60 to 90% of dog training is dog owner training, right? What that means is it takes a long time and a lot of energy to educate and train dog owners that if I go to a shelter and I explain them all this stuff, I have to educate them first, which is going to take a long time for them to get educated. And then hopefully they might implement the idea. But the thing is, I would love to, volunteer, but also, uh, there's that conflict of ideas. And also, I don't have enough time to volunteer. I would love to volunteer, but at this stage of my life, I don't have enough time to volunteer. But great question. Yes. Yeah, give it a thumbs up if you like this conversation, this topic, this live show, and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Let's go to Gold Miner James. Question is, hi Sarah, I have a 16-month-old lab, great breed. Question: she's pretty good off leash. I live a few blocks away from the trails. Any tips for being around cars and traffic? Yeah, the thing is, most dogs they don't have this idea of you know being street safe, cars and things like that. You have to teach the dog. Um, there are two, I would say, two things that comes to my mind that I think you have to consider. First of all, uh, when you're in the city, I would highly suggest, to have a dog who is comfortable and relaxed and enjoys being walked on a leash. The reason for that is because it's not a matter of if the dog is good on the streets or not, or this and that. You could have the best dog in the world, but from people's perspective, when a dog is walking off leash, it's a risky situation. Um, that those people, they don't know you, they don't know your dog, so they are uncomfortable, right? They will be uncomfortable when seeing a dog who's, for example, off leash on the streets. Uh, so therefore, there are these bylaws that you have to follow, which is, don't off leash your dog on the street. So I would say, yes, keep your dog on a leash. A good walking manner is a good approach to training and teaching a dog. Um, so allowing them to enjoy the walk on a leash in a city before they get to the uh, trails is like, this is how I look at it. I would say 20. I call it 20 60 20. 20 60 20. Yes. So 20% you walk on a leash perfectly. When on the street we get to the trails, your reward for walking properly on leash is going to be the trail and being off leash. So the 60% is being off leash. And then we're coming back from the trails, we're backing back on the streets. The 20% we go back on a leash. So it's on leash, off leash, on leash. So the dog gets both words. And if you have a good dog who's good on leash and off leash, it shouldn't be a problem. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is, yes, you can train a dog to not get on the roads, on the streets, no matter what. And the way you train that, it's a long process, but it's doable and it's possible. What you do is you bulletproof, uh, the stay, whether sitting, whether lying down, whether standing, the stay. That means don't move a muscle. Even if I'm on the street, I'm on the roads, even if your favorite toy is on the road. So you teach these things to the dog, and the dog learns that when I see the street, curb on the street, I don't pass through that unless my human gives me the permission, or uh, puts me on a leash and takes me. So you can bulletproof that. Yes, definitely can teach that. So there are two. I hope those two perspectives gives you a better point of view to look at, you know, street safety. But labs overall, yes, I agree. They are great breeds. They're easy to train and they're good. They're so good. We used to have a lot of labs in our daycare. They were they were the party of the pack, both females and males. They love to party. Good conversation going there. Donald has a good question, I think. Sorry, any advice on being a new dog trainer, how to get business or my name out there? Thank you. Oh, this is a good question too. Yes. Uh, you know, to run a dog training business, I would say there are several things that you have to consider. Um, First of all, don't look at it as dog training business. Look at it as dog owner business. There's a difference. You're not you're not working with dogs. You're working with dog owners. That's the first thing that you have to realize. And that took me a while to realize. In the beginning, when I started, that was my vision too, that I'm working with dogs. But I ended up working with dog owners. And so, therefore, I had to improve my people skills. I had to be more social with people. I had to be more willing to interact with people. And dogs were among them. So, my first tip is try to be people person mostly, uh, because you're running a business. First of all, as you say, it's a business, and you're running a business based on dealing with people. Uh, Maybe this is a bad example, but mechanics, they don't deal with cars. They're dealing with people, right? People bring, hey, my car is broken. Can you fix it? You know, and it's your responsibility to say, you know, I will fix it or not. First, you have to go pass through the human, and then you get to the car. And once you get to the car, because you're a mechanic, you know exactly what is wrong with it. You can fix it, few minutes, done, right? But the challenge is, how do you deal with the human, with the dog owners? So this is why I always say dog training is 60 to 90% dog owner training. That's the challenge. If a dog owner is not interested in training their dogs, or is it's not in the mood to train the dog, or it's not willing to train the dog, you got no business. So you have to, first of all, understand that you have to approach dog training business as you're dealing with people, people problem, you know. And second of all, you you have to be emotionally, mentally strong, different. You have to be different than others, different than dog owners themselves, because no dog owner would come and say, "Hey, I have a great dog. I want to train my great dog." You know, it's never like that. It's always you're getting negative energy from dog owners. Hey, my dog is aggressive, is biting everybody, it's reactive, it's bitten my arms, it's not listening to me, um, all the negative stuff, and they bring all that negative energy to you, and you are the solution for them, right? So you're bombarded with negative energy all the time, right? Nobody is going to come and say, I have a great dog, I want you to train it. They no dog owner does that, right? Um, Dog owners, they usually come when they are in trouble, in pain, they have issue with their dogs. So think of it that way, approaching the dog training, and run it like a business, like you would run a business of any business that that is running successfully. Think of it that way, run it that way. My One of my biggest mistakes, again, from the start, I would say, that I didn't follow and didn't do, is I didn't have business plan. I didn't, business plan is good thing. You have to know what you want to do, who you want to serve, how long you want to do. You have to have all these planned ahead, and then approach it that way. And then hopefully you'll be a great, successful dog trainer. And the last thing is, try to be a little bit more unique when it comes to dog training. Study dog training as much as you can. Study all kinds of dog training as much as you can, and pick information from here and there and there and there. Pick good parts that make sense to you and sits well with your conscious and your mindset, uh, and use that to create your own dog training business. That would be it. Yeah, that would be my tip. Great question. Yes, yeah, labs love other dogs and their party breeds for sure. Donald says thank you, sir. No problem. You're welcome. All the best, uh, best wishes for you. Good luck in your journey of dog training. Yeah, so let me just finalize the topic that we were talking today, regarding simplifying dog training. And Donald, this I think will apply to you too, to understand this part, that it's not only training. Training dogs is one part of the equation. And basically, this is something that every dog owner should know, that yes, you hired me, for example, or we're doing training your dog, we're training your dog, but it's not training that we have to only improve. You have to improve the dog's exercise, socialization, care, and affection part of the equation before we see some results in the training, or overall we see results in your dog's overall behavior. So those are the things that we have to focus on. Oh, Donald has another question. Good question. Um, is shelter dogs harder to train than clients? Yes, definitely. That is a big challenge if you're approaching a dog training business and you want to become a dog trainer. Don't get involved with shelter dogs. That's not the way that you start learning and building. Here's why. Uh, Shelter dogs, dogs in shelters and in being in in the environment like that, it's they're very stressed, they're very confused, they're very different. They're not showing and portraying or reflecting their real personality, right? So therefore, uh, when you go and practice your training with them, you're not going to get the best results. They're not they're not good dogs to give you feedback about your training method and system because they are too messed up. They're not in the right place mentally and physically and emotionally. So therefore, they're not going to give you back the right energy that you need. So therefore, what happens is you're going to get conflicting results, and therefore, you're not going to be learning what you're supposed to do. A shelter dog for training is good for dog trainers who are pros, professional dog trainers. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, and they know exactly how to approach a dog who's in shelter. So one of the reasons, again, I don't also volunteer in the shelters is because we can change. Like, no, I can. Here's the thing. There are two types of this is dog training secret that I'm sharing. There are two types of um, approach to dog training. Two types of um, ways of getting the dog's attention to you as a dog trainer. One is you invest time and energy to build a relationship with the dog, which takes a long time, right? It takes a long time to build that relationship. The other one is called working relationship. Working relationship is a relationship that it's built within 5 minutes, and you're approaching dog training at or that dog from working dog mentality. Working dog mentality is here. You do something, you get rewarded, and you build a quick relationship with that dog so you can implement information in the dog, but it doesn't last long. It's just there for a few minutes while you're training the dog. It doesn't last long as because you're not there 24/7. You're not spending time with that dog 24/7. So you can implement information, you can make the dog look and feel different, and then you're showing it to the shelter personnel people, and then people they say, oh, this dog is great, we can put it for adoption, and then people come and adopt that dog and then take the dog home, but the dog is in different environment, different people, you're not there anymore, or they don't have the same idea anymore, it's different than shelter, so they start behaving differently, and then they get overwhelmed and they return the dog again to the shelter. So it's not realistic. You know, the the solution is not to train sheltered dogs. The solution is to prevent dogs ending up in the shelter first and foremost. And the second solution is to allow the dog to have some time to spend in the new home. Like sometimes it's not just a week, it's months. The dog has to spend months in the new home, in new with new people, in order to say, you know what, I can relax now and be myself, right? So shelter dogs, I would say they're, if you want to approach it from dog training perspective to gain some um, experience, I would say don't do it because you're dealing with very, too many unknowns, right? And you're going to be risking your life. I'll give you a quick example. Many years ago, this is when I was trying to figure out how to run my dog training business and figure out how to do business of dog training. Um, and that time, Cesar Millan was very popular. You know, Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, was very popular on TV. And he had his show on TV, and everybody was very excited to see Cesar Millan doing these things. And one of the episodes was this case that Caesar uh, entered. There was a dog who was very aggressive, biting people and all that, and was in a cage, locked up in a cage. Caesar walked into the cage and did his thing, and I don't recall if he got bitten or not, but he managed to survive that case. And show the show was put on in a way that it ended up in good sense, good manners. But people were mimicking this, right? People were copying this approach. So there was a case in the place in the area that I used to live. There was a case that a newbie had watched this episode and wanted to show off. So he entered a cage of a dog who was reactive in the local shelter, and he got bitten and injured and all form of damages, just because this person thought, oh, if Cesar Milan could do it, I can do it too, right? But that's the thing. Professionals may be able to help shelter dogs, but newbies shouldn't go and use the shelter as, experimental place or learning or getting experience. So shelters, I would say, try to, Donald, try to work with individuals at this stage. Thank you for being finding the channel and loving the channel. That's great. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, definitely work with individuals and find out how you can better yourself, your techniques and ideas. Don't try to mimic others. Don't try to copy things that you watch or you see. Don't put your dog to in risk, yourself or your dog in risk. Don't risk it. Dogs have teeth, and they will use it if they have to. And once they use it, you lose. You know, and once you lose, that's a sign that you're gonna it'll give you a negative perspective of dogs and approach to dog training. Luckily, in my um, uh, career so far, I've never got bitten. I've got bitten a little bit here and there, but not serious bites. I haven't had serious injury, and I've been okay, right? Because I've approached it from different perspective. Approached it understanding from the business from inside out. Sorry, inside out, rather than from outside. Right? Donald is asking, may I ask, what's your favorite breed to train? Oh, this is great. Another great question. uh, my favorite breed to train is all of the dogs. All of the breeds are very trainable. But I would say dogs that are challenging to train are my favorite breeds to train. Here's why. Now, I know it sounds philosophical, but this is the way I look at it. Let me visualize that for you. So, many people may say German Shepherds are favorite breed, but German Shepherds, for example, they have been bred to be trained easily, right? German Shepherds are very easy to train because there's nothing challenging about it. You can tell a German Shepherd, go and clean the yard, it'll go and clean the yard without you telling it what to do, how to do it. For example, now try to train this breed, for example, right? Try to train a basset, for example. That's a challenge, right? That's a challenge because many dog owners, they say, oh, bassets, or even let's say, beagles. Many people say, oh, beagles are foodie, they're very food motivated, they're very hard to train. That's my kind of guy. That's kind my the challenge. The more challenging the dog it is, the more favorite breed it is for me. The easy ones are, simple. The Malamunes, German Shepherds, Dobermans, um, Huskies too, um, Border Collies. These are simple dogs. See, they're easy dogs. Yeah, those can be trained easily, right? Uh, More challenging dogs breeds are my favorite because I can tap into the my method of dog training, which is play and praise, and train the dog simply and easily and fast. And dog owners, they say, wow, how the hell did you get to that level? How the hell did you do that? Right? I've been a beagle owner, for example, for years and years. I've never been able to train my dog, and you train your dogs because I tap into the play and praise reward system to train the dogs, right? Uh, no, I don't know, Donald, if you're new here or new to this channel or not, but I don't use food to train dogs. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't use food at all to train dogs. I believe you shouldn't be using food or treats to train dogs. So that's one of the things that also maybe you want to focus on, learning how dogs learn and then approach it from that point of view. I'm sure if you do your research, 99.9% of the results that you get is dog training with treats. But my channel and my method of dog training is basically We're not using treats or food to train dogs. I don't think that's the way to train dogs, especially if you're training a beagle. You shouldn't be using treats to train dogs. That's the thing. Joanne is saying, I'm a first puppy owner of a cockapoo. What's the best advice for training him? So if you're starting from puppyhood, you have to understand that again. The I had a good talk this morning from from the start of the show. When it comes to your puppy or your dog, Joanne, it's not matter of just training your puppy. Focus on providing your dog's daily five essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and also affection. Focus on providing these five things, and it will make the training go smoother, to get easier. And the training that you're going to be using is as a puppy, for a puppy, you should be approaching it from play and praise reward system approach. I don't usually suggest uh, I don't usually suggest training any breed of dog, any puppy, any dog with treats, because once you start doing that, what happens is uh, you you start depending on treats and food to approach to the training, and you're digging yourself a big hole. Um, First of all, I would highly suggest you to watch the video that is coming out tomorrow on my channel. It'll give you an overall perspective of how you're supposed to approach dog training. And if you want, you can also join my program. If you feel that you're overwhelmed with your puppy and it's something that you need help, I provide a program that is called Perfect Dog Plan. It's a very unique dog training method and program that we approach the training with you in mind, the dog owner in mind, with providing lifetime access to the program and also weekly coaching calls. And you have video library that you can go and learn and understand exactly what you're supposed to do from puppyhood. We start all the way from puppyhood, even before you get a puppy, all the way to adulthood. It's a program that, again, also we don't use treats to train dogs. Um, and it has full-time support, so we provide you with full-time support, but also approach the training with fun, simple, effective way of training. And the only thing is you have to be qualified to be registered for this program. So what we do is you can set up a free call, video call. We interview, you interview me, I interview you to find out if this program is the right program for you. So if you really need help, there's help support for you. Um, you can join the program. Just set up a free video call by going to the description below. There's a link, and also you can go to Saro Dog Training and click on Work with Me right there, and it'll take you to the page that you can book a video session with me to see if this is a right program for you and for us to work together. Yeah, definitely you have few options, and I can definitely help you. Have you, so Donald is asking, have you ever thought about fostering shelter dog, training them in adopt them out for a small fee? I used to foster dogs. I had few foster dogs, but I don't do it. I didn't do it for small fee. I did it for, uh, just for help, for helping the shelter, for helping the rescue organization, uh, or helping the people just in general. I would foster them, and if we found the right family, we would allow them to adopt them. So yeah, it was something that I have done it, but I didn't used to do the thing that, oh, I'll foster the dog, train it, and then adopt it. No, because again, my um, my approach there was, let's keep this dog out of the shelter, right? Training can come later. Training is not the main thing in their focus. When you have a dog who is in a shelter or he's about to go in a shelter, and when they are in shelter, they're not, in the right mind. Just think of it this way. Think of it as yourself being put in a shelter, because not yourself. Don't forget about that example. Imagine a person. Imagine a person losing their parents, unfortunately, family, and they're put into foster homes, and you know being fostered and then being adopted. That person, when it's in the foster home, it's not the same as being at home, and also being in the new home. First of all, that person has lost its family, right? That's already a big trauma in that person's life. And then is living in a foster home that there are strangers, small room, not comfortable, not normal situation, not normal conditions. And then a family comes and says, "Oh, we will adopt you, or take you home." They take this person home, and that person has gone from losing its family, parents, to a shelter, a foster home that spent a long time there, had to deal with strange stuff, stranger and stuff like that, and now is in another stranger's home, has no relationship, has to build a relationship and all that. So training that person is not the first thing that we have to consider. We have to make sure that person, first of all, feels loved, saved, secure, feels that life is important, life is good, everything is going to be okay, and then send that person, that kid to school and things like that. See what I'm saying? So a sheltered dog, is it's in the wrong space and wrong state of mind, physically, mentally, emotionally. So it's not realistic to train that dog. Training is not going to help, right? Yes, you may have seen videos on YouTube or here and there that, yes, some professionals have gone to the shelters and trained the dogs, and the dog has become adoptable, and then the dog has been adopted. But That's the story that they show you, but the long term is that that dog may not succeed in that family. Most dogs, especially now, are being returned to the shelters because dog owners, they can't handle the dogs. They are either overwhelmed with the behavior of the dog, or their life doesn't fit to have a dog anymore, so they're returning the dogs, right? So as I said again, our first solution should be to stop the dogs from ending up in the shelters in the first place, rather than training those shelter dogs. Those dogs are not in a mindset ready to be trained. It's not suitable to train those dogs in shelter. They're not going to benefit from training. Again, think of it this way. Imagine a kid who's lost his parents, is in a foster home, and try to go and teach this kid, how, to study math, to study geographies, to study this and that. That kid is not going to absorb the information. He's not going to enjoy going to school. He's not going to enjoy learning and stuff like that because they've been to a trauma and they are in the trauma already. Also, they're going to have more trauma in their lives, and you cannot expect them to function properly and then um, hope that they're going to behave properly. So have that mindset as well when it comes to sheltered dogs. Um, so with that approach, I was fostering the dogs, not to in purpose of training them, just to foster them so they were not in the shelter. They were in a home. They were in a good, loving home that was giving them a normal lifestyle, provides them for normal lifestyle. And then if we found the right family, I would go and do a good um, interview with those people, make sure that was an ideal family for this dog, and then we'll match them and let them adopt the dog. And once they adopted the dog, we will keep in touch to make sure everything was okay. And that's the responsibility of that shelter as well, or rescue organization. They keep you up. You keep updating the dog and the family, how it is going with the dog and the family. So that was my approach, not to train the dog. You know. Gene is in the house all the way from Chicago. Thank you for being here, Gene. We're almost done with the live show today. I hope you enjoyed the live session today. Um, I had fun. I love talking about dogs, and I love your questions today as well. I enjoyed it. If you want to learn more, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you will be notified as soon as I post my next video or if I go live. Make sure to watch my new video coming out tomorrow. It's going to blow your mind, I hope, I think. It's a very, very fascinating topic that I'm talking about, and it will give you a different perspective of looking at dogs and dog training. I haven't shared even with my students, and I'm going to share it with my students as well. This video, it's kind of a learning lesson for my students as well. Um, it was fun. Thank you, yes, Donald. It was fun to be talking about dogs and had fun. Carpe diem, Sorrow, and everyone. I don't know what carpe diem means, but I'm hoping and I feel like it means uh, it's a positive thing. I will take that. Uh, Very good. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I had a fun time. If you want to learn more and work with me as well, go to my website. The link is in the description. You can book a video session with me to see if um, we're a match. If you want to work with me, if you like my method, my ideology, and you want to work with me one on one, just like Jean is doing. Jean is one of my students as well. She's having fun. She's enjoying the program. If you want to work with me as well, the link is in the description. Let's talk. Let's see if we are match, and if we are match, then we will work together. Hope you enjoyed the session today. Until next time, have fun with your dog. Seize the day. That's what